Are you looking for a podcast where you can hear from real people regarding their real dental drama? If so, then you've come to the right place. Join hosts Bethany Petty and Dr. Rena Kuba as we dive into the solutions we've created and the mistakes we've made while managing dental drama. Let's get started. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good start to the week. I'm excited to dive into our topic today, which is membership plans or VIP plans. But before I dive into that, I do want to let you guys know that Dr. Kuba and I have officially opened up some dates for the consulting crash course. You can go back and listen to the Best CE course episode a couple of weeks ago where we talk more about the concept, but it is a 2-day consulting crash course focused only on you and your team. I know we've got team members that listen, so be sure to nudge your doctor and tell him or her that you guys need this. It's going to be such an amazing 2-day investment in you, your team, your practice, and Dr. Kuba and I are super excited to start hosting some people. So if you are interested in it, please email us at managingdentaldrama@gmail.com. And it's called the Consulting Crash Course. Once you reach out, we'll fill you in with all the details. Okay, let's talk about membership plans. I get so many questions on this subject matter, and I believe that it's grown in popularity over the last several years, honestly out of necessity, because dental insurance has made so many negative changes and covers less and costs more. So many more patients are looking for alternatives, or they've lost their dental benefits and they're looking for an alternative to keep dental care healthy, keep themselves healthy and keep dental care at a low cost. So I want to give a little bit of background to this suggestion that I'm going to make. So dental insurance has served a purpose. As much as I grow frustrated with it and have advised, unfortunately, have had to advise many of my clients over these last couple years to strategically drop a few plans or drop all plans in order to make ends meet, it has served a purpose at the end of the day. Many years ago, before dental insurance, we had a very heavy edentulous population. The preventative care for dental care was not there. People couldn't afford dentistry. Back in the 70s and 80s, you went to the dentist when you had a toothache and they pulled the tooth. And so we've come a long way in preventative dentistry, in conservative dentistry, and a large part of that is due to dental insurance and access to care. Now, thank you, dental insurance, for getting people aware of preventative care and allowing access for so many people to have preventative care. However, that is now changing, and the education, for the most part, is out there, and people know that they need to take care of their teeth, and they know that they need to preventatively take care of their teeth. That doesn't mean that they all do it, but the education is much more well known now. The problem is now dental insurance, who kind of paved the way for preventative dentistry, has taken such a sharp decline that patients are back in this position of wanting to take care of their teeth, but either not having dental insurance, having dental insurance and having to pay a huge premium for that, or having dental insurance, having to pay a lot, and dental insurance not paying for very much. And so patients are kind of back in this boat of wanting to take care of themselves, but also not wanting it to cost a fortune. And so because of that sharp decline in dental insurance and just some of the choices that dental insurance has made especially over these past few years, it is really time for practices to strongly consider a membership or wellness plan. I have had a lot of clients do this very successfully And there are a variety of ways to introduce or roll out some type of membership or wellness program for your patients. I'm going to give a few of those options to you guys today to think about, but I want to throw out a big overarching theme. The only reason that we are talking about this is the concept of dental insurance has been proven. When people have a resource that is going to help them with their dental care costs, they are more prone to keep up with their preventative care. When that is removed, there's a strong correlation when people do not have dental insurance. Even if they know they need to go to the dentist, they are not going to the dentist as regularly. So because we know that correlation and we know that dental insurance has had a positive impact on dental care in general, then we are essentially trying to fill in the gap. We're imagining a world where dental insurance does not exist. So what can we as the provider do to make dentistry more affordable, number one, but also just easier to stick with it, encouraging our patients to stick with their preventative care. I am never a fan of discount dentistry and let's throw every special and every offer out there and just slice and dice our prices. I think we've probably done too much of that over the years, and therefore we've been left with a lot of people that don't value dentistry or they're looking for the next deal. And so we've done too much of that. A wellness program is not meant to be a really strong discount program, although discounts absolutely are a part of it, but we're not pitching it as a discount plan. We are pitching it as a wellness plan or a VIP program, some way for patients to stick with preventative care on an ongoing basis. So I want to talk about some options on this. Number one, the simplest, easiest plug and play option is a plan that simply covers the preventative side of dentistry. So this can be an annual fee. I've seen clients, the cost ranges depending upon what's included, but usually the most general form of this is 2 cleanings a year, any necessary x-rays, the doctor exam, and the cleaning. And that's normally one fixed package price for the year. So that could be, I've seen it, $299, $399, $499, somewhere in that range for the year. Now, normally what most people do is they will have patients pay the full annual premium because most of us are not equipped to have ongoing monthly payments, not to mention we assume some of the risk if the patient is paying monthly. If they sign up in January and they get their cleaning and all their services in January, but they're essentially paying monthly, they haven't paid for that January visit until June or July. And so we can kind of get our nose out in front of our skis if we do too much monthly programs when we're pricing it so low. So a lot of people will do an annual fee that's paid one time a year, and then that includes their 2 cleanings for the year. Sometimes within this pricing package, people will include options like 10% off treatment or an extra limited or emergency exam per year for free. So all of that can be included in what I would call the most basic form of a wellness plan. So pricing wise, if you do a real basic plan like this, you essentially need to add up what you know that every patient is going to get. If you're going to do a 2 limited exams, meaning that two periodic exams, meaning that the doctor is going to get in and look at the patient twice per year. You're going to do 2 prophies. You're going to do 1 set of cavity detecting x-rays. If that's peds, that may be 2 bite wings. If that's adults, that may be 4 bite wings and 2 PAs. Whatever the case may be, you add it all up. A lot of people will go ahead and include their preventative recommendations like fluoride. So some people will include 2 fluoride treatments per year. What you do is you write down the cost for all of those. You add it all up. What would this regularly cost the patient? And then you figure out, I think a general rule of thumb is if you've been networked with insurance companies, you can kind of look at your average write-off. If you're writing off somewhere, which is typical, usually between 40 and 60%, then you try to come in with a percentage that's lower than that. That could be 25% off, where you add it all up and let's say you include everything and it looks like they would typically pay $600 a year for those services. Well, then maybe you come in at $450 for the year, and that's your price. Whatever it is, you come up with a price that you feel like will be somewhat affordable for your patients, because that's the goal. Remember, we're trying to fill in the gap here and make sure that patients can afford preventative care. So you come up with something that's affordable, but I also want to caution you not to make it too affordable. This doesn't need to be a loss leader in your practice. You don't need to do $99 for the year and both cleanings are included, because it will become something that's unsustainable for you and is draining you. You're going to have to be productive somewhere else to essentially pay for this bucket that you're having to pour all these resources into. So please don't make it so discounted that you're not profitable with it. So fix your price, and then I would recommend the simplest format is to do an annual premium. And then you charge that once a year, and every year the patient pays it. And I like automatic renewals. You can have it where they automatically renew every year, and you do the same annual charge. And I think that works out great for many patients. Some of my clients have done, and I will say here, just as an asterisk before I move on to a more complex plan, there are plenty of companies out there that manage this for you. They put together a wellness plan, they put together the marketing collateral for it, they charge the patient, run it through their system, and honestly, that works out great. If you want a super hands-free approach, go with that. They're, of course, going to take their piece of the pie, but it's worth it if you want a super easy plug and play option. Now, if you're doing a very simple annual plan like this, I personally don't think you need a company to manage this for you. It's literally an annual charge, and you are doing that charge once a year, and then you are putting the codes in when you complete them, but you're either zeroing out those codes or you're doing an adjustment to write off that amount. So you still charge it out on the ledger as usual. The only difference is you're writing it all off or you're making it a $0 charge. So the accounting's pretty simple. For these simple plans, I don't think you need a company managing it. I think you end up taking out too much of your profit, and I think it's worth just managing it on your own. Now, some will include a couple of more additional plans. So in an adult practice, they might have a perio plan that includes 4 cleanings per year. It includes 2 exams. It includes 2 sets of cavity detecting x-rays. It includes an annual pano. It includes the perio maintenance rather than the prophy code. All of those things should, quite obviously, lead to a higher annual premium. And sometimes I'll have clients that really want to offer monthly for that, because it could be $799 or $899, and that's hard for a patient to pay all at once, although I do think it's still possible for them to pay an annual premium. But you could set this up as a monthly payment option, and if you're doing that, maybe it is helpful for you at that point to contract with these companies that do it for you. I will also throw out here, there are many options with some of these supporting softwares. Weave has the opportunity to process payments now and set up auto payments. Yappy has that, Practice by Numbers, Dental Intel. If you've got some of these programs, you very well have the capacity to save card information in that program and process through their merchant services. So I would encourage you to look into that. With a perio plan, for example, that's costing more, what you could very easily do is say $250 down and the remaining is spread out over that 11-month period. And then you could set that up through one of your supporting softwares. I want to caution you against saving a credit card on file. I've had many clients that have just written out a credit card processing agreement and then they scan it into the doc center and they save it that way. That is not a secure way to save a credit card, so I would caution you against that. You need to use software that's built to store credit card information so that we're taking care of our patients' information. So those would be two of what I would call the basic options. One's very simple. It's just the typical healthy mouth preventative plan. One is more complex and it has a perio option, or in pedo you might have an ortho option if you recommend 4 cleanings a year while your patients are in ortho. Those are they should be more expensive, and you may want to be able to offer monthly payments for that, but I would do a dollar amount down to get signed up on that, so that your nose is not out in front of your skis. Now, I have had some clients that do completely different models. They go in all very custom into this. So they have maybe a very custom preventative plan that they recommend to their patients. Maybe there's certain products that they want them to be on. Maybe there's a certain toothbrush that they want them to have. Maybe there's a certain floss that they want them to use. They'll package everything together and it's a much more comprehensive plan. And then they do with it, because it costs more, they do have a monthly payment program. So you can get very custom with your preventative recommendations. It's an opportunity for you to dream a little bit. If insurance is out of the picture, if the patient's pocketbook is out of the picture, what would you as a clinician recommend for your patients? And how can you get them to follow you with those recommendations? So package that together and put it into something that makes sense for the patient. A lot of times this can be, when you're doing a real custom approach like this can be done in conjunction with insurance. So you might have a very custom wellness program that includes all these products, this floss, you want to do an annual pano because you firmly believe in that, whatever your preventative recommendations may be. You package all of that together, add it all up, and then you go, hey, that would cost my patient $1,000 a year if there was no insurance involved. But if I'm getting $400 or $500 from insurance for the regular preventative care, and there's a lot of procedures that a lot of codes that insurance won't pay for, like the products, the floss, the annual pano, things like that. Okay, well then I'm actually going to have it be $1,000 for my non-insured patients, but I'm going to have it be $500 for my patients that have insurance, because they're not just signing up for regular preventative care, they're signing up for a wellness plan, your custom clinical recommendations. And so then there's an additional fee outside of what insurance pays. And that's absolutely possible to do in this kind of custom plan. So that could be a more in-depth option. I certainly have clients that also offer their patients more of an all-inclusive type plan, where they pay an annual fee, and any dental needs that come up during that particular year, that they're covered under their monthly premium. Now, you have to be really careful because we are not an insurance company. So you can't claim that this is your in-house dental insurance. This needs to be marketed and put together as a wellness plan and not as an insurance plan. So I think you got to be really careful with the wording on that, and don't overstep your bounds and act as an insurance company. But there are ways that you can kind of manipulate it, where there is a plan that's more of a warranty plan, and maybe they pay an annual fee for all of their preventative care, but it's a slightly higher preventative fee because it includes some warranties for the patients, where fillings that were conducted that year are covered under warranty, or a crown that was completed in the last 3 years covered under the warranty because they're a part of your VIP program. So that's an option. If you want to get really a little bit more complicated, you could certainly do something along the lines of that. All that to say, you've got multiple options, from the simplest option to a little bit more complex custom preventative recommendations, all the way over to more of a warranty or all-inclusive annual fee, more of a club membership type feeling. All of these make dentistry more affordable, but here's a couple of keys that I want to make sure to reinforce with you. Number one, this has to be profitable for you. This cannot be a loss leader like insurance is for many offices, because then we're having to make up for the production somewhere else. And in the times that we're in, it's really hard to find buckets of profitability that cover loss leaders. So you got to make sure that this is profitable. When you're factoring in your wellness plan prices or your VIP prices, I normally recommend don't go too much past that 25% mark. Because once we venture past that, then we're getting into insurance territory. And the whole reason that we're trying to think of something different is because insurance is no longer profitable for a lot of dental offices. So kind of set your mark, and it could be anywhere under 25%, but once you start getting to that 25% mark, I would really question if you're picking the right price. So number two, that's number one, make sure it's profitable. Number two, make sure it's simple for your patients. They do not need to go from the complex world of dental insurance to the complex world of a wellness plan. It needs to be simple. Don't put a lot of red tape in there and exclude things and have all this fine print that they have to read through. Make it simple. If it's a preventative plan, everything that is preventative needs to be included in that plan. Don't make them come in and then pay extra for fluoride if you're recommending fluoride. Really think about how you can make it a very easy to implement plan for your patients. I want them to go from having dental insurance, which was so complex and they were always being denied for things, to sign up for a wellness plan, and it's just easy. They're hitting the easy button. They know that when they come in for their cleanings, what you recommend is good for them, number one, but it's also good for their mind, the peace of mind. They're not having to worry about extra costs. So make it easy for your patients. And I would say the third thing is make it easy as possible for your staff. Utilize the technology that's out there to set up monthly payment plans if you're going to do that. If you're doing a simple plan, just do the annual fee. Make it easy. It doesn't have to be complex. If you need to harness the power of a company that's doing this, go harness the power of a company if that helps your team members out. But there are a ton of resources out there that I think are going to make it easy for your staff. I would say the final thing is market the heck out of it. Once you've got it put together, find a creative team member to put together a Canva or some kind of Vistaprint card that includes the information about the program. Put it out on social media. Send it out to your patients via email. Let them know that there is now an alternative to dental insurance, and it's your wellness program. Market it and get your patients accustomed to hearing about it when they're in the office. Even if they have dental insurance now, they could very well lose their dental insurance if their employer cuts dental insurance, or if they themselves move jobs or lose their jobs. We don't want them coming to the dental office only because they have dental insurance. We want them to always know that there's an alternate option if ever you choose not to participate in your employer's dental insurance, or if you ever lose dental insurance. We've got you covered. You can still come and get your teeth taken care of. That's the message that we want to make sure we're telling every patient. Whether or not they have insurance, we're telling them how they need to know about our wellness program. So market the heck out of it so that your patients are aware that there's an option. Okay, I think I've said all that I can say on this Memorial Day about wellness programs. If you have one in place, it's a good opportunity to revisit the parameters of yours and make sure that it's still a plan that works for you and is profitable for you and is good for your patients. If you don't have a wellness program, I would strongly encourage you to consider one. Get together with your team, figure out what y'all can put together that fits the needs of your patient base. Hopefully that gives you some food for thought on this Memorial Day. Have a blessed week, and I look forward to seeing you back next week.
Thanks for joining the conversation today. We hope that you are comforted in knowing that you are not alone, but we also hope that you're walking away with some really great tips and tricks to try in your practice. We value your feedback, so please take a few moments to rate and review the podcast. Finally, We want to make sure that we're covering the topics that matter to you. So track us down on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and let us know what topics you want us to cover. As always, please know that we are rooting for you today as you manage your dental drama.